Kong Rong, the Master Scholar. Famed for his quick wits and elaborate literary style, he was ranked among the 7 scholars of Jianan, a group of representative literati. As a boy he was already resourceful, and as he grew older he became a brilliant politician and scholar, which got him successive promotions and became the Chancellor of Beihai Commandery in Qing Province. Kong Rong knows that only through knowledge and insight will prosperity in China prevail once more. Hello, my name is MrSmartDonkey, and today we're going to be taking a look at the ins and outs of Kong Rong's faction in Total War Three Kingdoms. Starting with Kong Rong's character and faction specializations. Kong Rong's unique character traits are plus 5k population growth and plus 50% trade influence. 5k population growth will certainly help with your economy in the early game, but later on it can become a problem due to the public order issues a large population will bring. 50% trade influence is always great, however, as it will mean you earn a lot more from trade than the factions you trade with do. Kong Rong's unique resource is trade monopoly, which increases his trade influence even further. To increase it, you will need trade monopolies, which are essentially the same as a regular trade agreement except they increase your trade monopoly resource. Your population also increases trade influence. The higher the population, the more trade influence. For every army you field, your trade influence gets reduced by a hefty 35% though, so you'll need to be careful not to recruit too many. Kong Rong has 2 unique units, the Fury of Beihai and the Thunder of Jianan, both excellent crossbow units which we will look at in more detail later. Kong Rong has 1 unique building, the Academies of Culture, which replaces the schools building. Instead of increasing character experience, it provides a solid amount of public order, population growth, and either income from all sources or culture, depending on which chain you choose. Kong Rong also has a unique assignment, which increases population growth and income from commerce. As Kong Rong is a governor, he is loyal to the Han, meaning he can only become emperor by capturing the capital of an existing emperor. Finally, Kong Rong is accompanied by Wang Xu, whom we will look at in more detail later. Kong Rong starts in the capital of Beihai, facing off against the tiny yellow turban force. The capital of Beihai is a level 2 town, that is a level 2 land development already built, and an open construction slot. Since the other region in Beihai is a livestock farm, I would recommend building the government support building, as it will increase food production further. That brings us to your neighbors. Starting in the east, behind the army Kong Rong is facing off against, are some yellow turban rebels in the aforementioned livestock farm. This will likely be your first target if you follow the missions. You'll also find some yellow turban rebels to your north in the trade port of Taishan, another region worth taking early on as it can provide a decent bit of income from commerce. To your south and further to the east you will find many Han Empire provinces, which are generally easy to take and will form the backbone of your empire. To your southwest in the Iron Mine of Dong are some more yellow turban rebels, but they will get taken out on turn 1 by Liu Bei. Finally, to your west in the town of Taishan you will find Huang Xiao, one of your main adversaries in the early game. Another early adversary will be the Yellow Turban Rebels, for one because they own several towns around you, but also because an event will occur early on that will spawn a full stack of low tier troops right next to your capital, so make sure to keep your army nearby. Soon after that occurs, your initial dilemma will pop up, which will have you choose between employing legendary archer Tai Shi Cheat or following the story and having him make friends of Liu Bei for you, after which you will join Sun Jian. Since Kong Rong doesn't have any other legendary characters other than himself, I would recommend taking him on, but the choice is yours. Moving on to Kong Rong's already unlocked reform, which should come to no surprise, Foreign Envoys, which gives him an extra available trade agreement. It is surprisingly difficult to make use of this early on, however, since you're surrounded by enemies. Finally, a look at Kong Rong's family tree, which is about as barren as they come, having only Kong Rong in it. Moving on to your legendary characters, starting with Kong Rong himself. The Master Scholar is a strategist, meaning he excels at hiding at the back like a coward. Jokes aside, strategists provide your units with different formations, buff your generals and debuff the enemy's generals and units. As with every other legendary lord, he has an extra resilience, meaning he'll survive getting taken down in battle an extra time. Other than that, he has the faction-wide buffs we looked at earlier and a load of stat increases. Kong Rong's traits are kind, scholarly, and understanding, which among other things grant him faction-wide satisfaction, character experience, and public order if he's an administrator. Kong Rong's skills provide him among other things with an extra trade agreement, range damage, and most importantly an ability that increases the cooldown of enemy generals' abilities. Finally, Kong Rong has one unique item, his armor, which provides him with a load of stats, ranged block chance, and a passive encourage ability. Next up is Wang Shu, who is one of Kong Rong's noteworthy characters, but as he's not legendary, I won't cover him in as much depth as I cover other characters. I will say, however, that normal generals get a total of 15 bonus stats, legendary characters get a total of 60, and noteworthy characters that aren't quite legendary but still have some importance, like Wang Shu, get 30, making them not quite as bad as regular generals, but still not quite legendary. Finally, there's Tai Chi, who is technically Sun Jian's general, but since you have the option to take him on early through the initial dilemma, I will cover him here. Tai Chi, of exceptional dexterity, is a sentinel, but a bit different than the usual ones. Besides a load of stat increases, his faction-wide buffs are plus 10 melee evasion for melee infantry and plus 10% range damage. Quite a solid prime minister or even heir if you're willing to adopt him. Tai Chi's traits are defiant, honorable, and intimidating, which among other things grant him morale when defending, a reduced penalty from desire for higher office, and immunity to being scared. Tai Chi's skills provide him with melee evasion for melee infantry, character experience, and most importantly, an ability that does a ton of damage and debuffs enemies that it hits, as well as allowing him to recruit archers into his retinue. This is where Tai Chi differs from other sentinels, as he is mostly ranged focused. All three of his abilities are ranged, with debuffs from venomous shot and hail of arrows, and a buff that gets better the longer he's firing from range with quickfire. Finally, Tai Chi has one unique item, his armor, which provides him with stat increases as well as increased speed in battle. Unfortunately, he doesn't start with a bow, so you have to hope you acquire one for him soon, so his abilities become a little more useful. Let's take a look at Kong Rong's unique units, of which there are two, the Fury of Beihai and the Thunder of Jianan, both fantastic crossbow units. Let's start with the former. The Fury of Beihai are available to Kong Rong's generals once they reach level 3. This is an absolutely devastating unit that's almost like a hybrid of archers and crossbows, but benefit from the best of both worlds. They have the increased range and armor piercing damage of crossbow units, but attack rate and ammunition closer to that of archers. Crossbows naturally fire a lot slower than archers, but the Fury of Beihai fire almost at the same rate as regular archers, while doing it from further away and with a lot more power. And the extra ammunition means they can fire for a lot longer too. Next up are the Thunder of Jianan, which are available to Kong Rong's generals once they reach level 6. If you like the Fury of Beihai, you'll love the Thunder of Jianan, as they are literally a direct upgrade, except for their movement speed due to the increased armor. Having said that though, they are mostly better in melee, which is somewhat irrelevant. They don't do any more damage at range, they just have a slightly higher ammunition count while being quite a bit more expensive. If you've got the money though, you can't go wrong with these, but due to the minor upgrades I generally stick to the Fury of Beihai. Also worth mentioning is that both units are disciplined, meaning their morale isn't affected by their general dying. Not a huge deal, but still a minor addition to the units. That's gonna do it for the Kong Rong faction overview. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments and I shall do my best to answer them. Also let me know which faction you'd like to see me cover next. Finally, if you're thinking of purchasing Free Kingdoms yourself, you're in luck. I am affiliated with 2Game, an official online retailer that's currently selling Free Kingdoms at a very attractive price. And if you use my code SmartDonkey, you get an additional 10% off as well. You'll get an official Steam key upon purchasing the game. If the game is region locked for you, just change the currency in the top left of the screen and that'll fix it. If you'd like to just support me making this type of content instead, make sure to check out my Patreon page. All the relevant links will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching, hope you've enjoyed. Have a good day and goodbye.